Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to demonstrate how to create an EC2 instance in AWS. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Before you go ahead and create your first EC2 instance on AWS, don't forget to choose the region which is close by to you. As I am from India, I have chosen Mumbai as my region. Now, let me go into my EC2 console by clicking in the compute services called EC2. So now on the top of the screen, you can notice that there are no EC2 instances that is created in my AWS account, right? I have 0 running instance and I have 0 dedicated host in my AWS console. So I'm going to create an EC2 instance by clicking launch instance. Now, the first step in creating an EC2 instance is choosing an AMI. AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. So this is your OS that you're planning to install in your virtual machine. So there are multiple different types of AMIs available. Now you can scroll down to see the different AMIs available on this image. So you have Amazon Linux, you have Red Hat, you have SUSE Linux, you have Windows. There are various types of AMI images available, right? Now you can notice here that there are some AMIs which is mentioned as HVM, and there are some AMIs which are mentioned as PV, right? So what is HVM and what is PV? HVM stands for hardware virtual machine. This is a type of virtualization. As you know, every virtual machine runs on a hypervisor, right? And a hypervisor takes care of the CPU scheduling, the memory partitioning, and all those stuffs. So now these are the two different types of virtualization available. Amazon uses Zen desktop or Zen cloud virtualization methods. So HVM is nothing but hardware virtual machine. Here what happens is the VM guests are fully virtualized. The VMs running on top of the hypervisor are not aware that they are sharing processing time with other clients on the same hardware. So this type of virtualization generally provides availability to run OS directly on top of the VMs without any kind of modifications. So this kind of virtualization is somewhat fast. And the another type of virtualization is para virtualization, that is PV. Para virtualization is a lighter form of virtualization. It is generally fast when compared to HVM. And here what is required is the guest OS that you are planning to install, it requires some kind of modifications, right? So those things apart, so now we'll go and choose an Amazon machine image. So now you have the following listed images that are available for you. If you want to purchase a specific Amazon machine image from the market, you can click AWS Marketplace and you can choose your Amazon virtual machine depending on the requirements that you want. So now for testing purpose, I'm going to choose a Windows image and I'm going to choose Microsoft Windows Server 2016, right? So now I have clicked yes. Now the next option that you have to configure is you have to choose the instance type. So what is instance type? So instance type is nothing but, with the help of this type window, you can choose what type of instances or what kind of applications that you want to install or run on the virtual machine. Depending on the applications, depending on the CPU, depending on the memory, depending on the storage that you want, you can choose the different types of instances that you need here. So now, as this is a demo, I'm going to choose a general purpose and I'm going to choose an image which has free tier eligible. So make sure you are only choosing a free tier eligible instance so that you will not be charged extra money when you create an instance and when you are practicing how to create an instance. So now after you choose the instance type, the next is you want to configure instance details. So the first column talks about the number of instances that you want to launch. So if you want to launch 10 instances all with Microsoft Windows, then you can change the number as 10. Now I am going to make it as one instance only. Now the next column talks about purchasing option. If you are interested in purchasing a spot instance, then you can choose your spot instance and you can bid down your value over here. So you can bid in cents or dollars, it depends on you. And if you want the instance to be persistence, you can select this particular option. So now I'm not going to go for spot instances, I'm going to now go for normal instances only. The next option is network. So this is nothing but your VPC settings. So VPC stands for virtual private cloud, which is nothing but a virtual data center in your environment. So we'll discuss VPC in a later on session in a different video. And the next option is subnet. So subnet is nothing but it is a preference that how to choose your availability zones, right? So please remember, one subnet is equal to one availability zone. So you can either keep your subnet in the first availability zone AP South 1A or the second availability zone AP South 1B. So I'm leaving it as default. I'm choosing it for the first availability zone. So when you choose the availability zone or the subnet, here you can notice that you have 4091 IP addresses available. So why it is 4091? Because the first 5 IP addresses will be taken by Amazon for their internal purposes. Anyway, we'll discuss that in VPC section in a separate video. So then on the bottom you can go and choose the different factors, like you can choose your placement groups, you can choose IAM roles, identity access management roles, you can choose the shutdown behavior. So what exactly shutdown behavior is? So shutdown behavior is nothing but when you click shutdown on this instance, what it should happen. So whether the instance should be stopped or the instance should be terminated. So I am making it as default as I am doing it for testing purpose. And so if you want to enable termination protection, so for example, accidentally if you have clicked terminate, right? So to have a protection, you can check this option so that it will protect from accidental termination. And the next option is monitoring. So if you want basic monitoring, the basic monitoring is a default feature. So basic monitoring is done for every 5 minutes. So basic monitoring will collect logs from CPU performances, network input and output values. So these are all the logs that are collected from basic monitoring. If you do not want to use basic monitoring and if you want detailed monitoring, so detailed monitoring will happen for every 1 minute of time, and this detailed monitoring is a chargeable feature. So if you want to enable detailed monitoring, you can check this option, right? And the next column is tenancy. So tenancy is nothing but, so if you want to run make it as a dedicated instance or dedicated host, you can go ahead and choose this option. So now, as this is a small demo of how to launch an EC2 instance, I'm going to make it as default. I'm going to make it as a shared instance only, right? So now you can go ahead and click next to add storage. So this is the storage window. Now you can see here, this volume type is the root volume, right? So root volume is nothing but the place where your operating system is installed, right? Now you can go ahead and choose the volume type. So you have provisioned SSD, general purpose SSD. You can also choose magnetic. So depending on your requirement, you can choose your volume types. Here, if you want to go ahead and add more volumes, so you can click add new volume over here, and you can add more volumes. So now you can change multiple different volume types over here. So you have two extra volumes added, cold HDD and throughput optimized HDD. So notice these two volume types cannot be used as a root volume, right? So operating system or a root volume can be only be a general purpose or provisioned or magnetic. Cold HDD and throughput optimized cannot be used as a root volume, or you cannot install operating systems directly, right? So if you want to encrypt the data which is stored on this particular volume, you can choose your encryption type, and you can choose your key management service also. So now I am not going to add the second volume. So now if you notice over here, by default the checkbox delete on termination is enabled. The reason is because when you terminate the instance, right, whether the volume created should be deleted or not. So that is what delete on termination stands for. If you uncheck this option, this volume will not be deleted if you are terminating the instance. So if you want to delete the volume, if you when at the time of terminating, you can still go and enable this option, but this option is default, right? You can notice here I didn't change this option, but still the option is enabled. So now the next option is adding tags. So here you can add tags to the instance that you have created. So you can say name, and you can say this is my first EC2 instance, and you can say department, and you can say this is under web development department. So you can add n number of tags for your instance. So tags generally they help you to reduce cost when you are handling a very big networks. So it is always recommended to have more number of tags to have an idea about what kind of instance you have. And the next option is configuring a security group. So now what exactly security group is? So security group is a virtual firewall, right? So what kind of firewall is this? So this firewall is going to control the traffic that is going towards your instance. So for example, I have created a Microsoft instance. So I want to control the traffic which is going towards my Microsoft instance that I am going to create, right? So now as this is a Microsoft instance, if I want to log into the instance, then I need to have RDP enabled, right? So that is why there is a default security group created for RDP. Now if I'm going to host a web service in that instance, then what I need HTTP to be enabled also. So to add rules over here, you can click add rule, and you can go ahead and choose HTTP. So the port number is 80 over here. So a HTTP instance security group is configured. So now if you like to change the name of the security group, so I'll say this is my first security group, and I'm going to give the same value as the description as well. So now I'll be creating a security group called first security group. So I have two protocols allowed. One is RDP and the other one is HTTP. So RDP has the port number of 3389 and the HTTP has the port number of 80. So if I want to add more rules and if I want to allow HTTPS as well, then I can go ahead and choose HTTPS and the port number is automatically chosen. And now this particular column talks about from which source address you have to allow this particular protocols to flow into your instance that you have created. So if you choose the option custom, so here you can type your own IP addresses and you can choose your IPs from where the protocol should be allowed. Or if you want to allow people to log into the instance from anywhere, then you can choose anywhere, the option anywhere, so that from everywhere you will be able to log into the instance that you have created. Or if you want to choose only your IP address, so you can go ahead and choose my IP. Immediately your IP will be detected, right? So I'm using an IP called 150.129.88.199.32/32, right? So only from this particular IP address I'll be able to do an RDP session to the instance I'm creating. If I'm trying from a different IP address, then I'll not be able to allow to do, right? So what you can do is, so when you are creating a web server, if you're planning to create a web server and you are planning to provide web access of that particular web server to various other customers, so what you can do is, for management reasons, you can have RTP sessions configured from your IP address and HTTP and HTTPS sessions and you can make it as anywhere, so that everybody from the world will be able to access HTTP and HTTPS ports of your instance, but only you will be able to access RDP, or you will be able to take a remote desktop of your instance that you have created. And coming to the last, so now this is just a review option, so you can go ahead and review the configurations that you have done. At last you can click launch. So after you click launch button, the next option is you have to choose the key pair. So here Amazon uses public key cryptography for authentication reasons, right? So now if you have already having a key pair, you can choose an existing key pair, or if you want to create a new key pair, then you can say create a new key pair and you can create a new key pair here. So I'm just telling that my first key pair. So you can download the key pair as well, so that it will be easy for you to use it for later purposes. Now after you save your key pair, you can just go ahead and say launch instance. So now notice here there is a launch status. It says your instances is now launching now. So now I'll go to the console and say view instances. So now you can notice here your first EC2 instance is having an ID of this, and the instance type is T2 micro, which is free tier eligible, and the availability zone that your instance is located in is in AP South, Asia Pacific South, and it is in 1A, and the instance state is running. So status checks are still initializing. It will take some time for completing the initialization. And this has the public DNS server, public DNS of this, and the public IP of 13.233.127, right? So this is how you launch, or you create EC2 instances on AWS. So thank you for watching.